Okay, it is time to return to Dinosaur Planet. And... okay, so our first step is going to be trying to get down into the... well, not trying... like, we have to get one more cheat token, which I believe is in Lightfoot Village. And then it's going to be the maze underneath the Warp Stone. And after that, we can actually get into the final phase of the game and probably close things up. That's probably 2 episodes.
Let's go, Fox! Get that spirit directly back to the Krazoa Palace. I have adjusted your flight path so that you will land at the top of the palace. As soon as you get there, head down inside to release the spirit. Pepper out! Fly through one gold ring to reach Dinosaur Planet.
Okay, well, I guess I'm not doing the maze and getting that last cheat token because they're sending me straight to the Krazoa Palace, and I guess I should have seen that coming. They took Slippy, or it's not Slippy, Tricky away, and I mean, I probably wouldn't be able to get through anything in Dinosaur Planet without Tricky's help. Like, he's so integral to a lot of the level design. I was kind of suspicious that they would do this, but what can you do? Not a whole lot. I should have got on it, but frankly, like, I think the very last opportunity that I had was before hopping into the Krazoa Shrine on top of the pyramid. I think that was my last opportunity to hop in the R-Wing, go back to Dinosaur Planet, and do the maze. Which is fine, it's an extra piece. I don't think that it was really critical to go to, but at the same time, like, there's not an inherently large amount of things to do in Dinosaur Planet in the first place. Yeah, I think I beat my score.
You did it, Fox! The force field is down! It's safe for you to land! Slippy out!
Yeah, sure enough, I beat my high score. Nice. Okay, so just gonna land right on the Krazoa Palace. Not like this could be a bad idea or anything. Like, that's not a landing pad, but then again, how many landing pads does... oh my word, he's landing so close to the wall. That's the sign of an expert pilot. Okay, where is the primary... How do I get this thing out? Where do I release the spirit? Or should I say spirit? As there were so many Britishisms. Nope, not there. The Britishisms were starting to seep through because, like, all of the members of Star Fox, and like General Pepper and whatnot, they are... okay, not this one. This is probably for Spirit number 6 then, because I think I only have 5. I have... yeah, okay, that's definitely the pad for okay, so they've just put the last Krazoa spirit in the temple itself, and it's a matter of just getting it out. So that's a thing. All of the members of Star Fox are very American in their accent, and oh, wait a minute, can I get let's survey the area. I need a better vantage point. Yeah, that's just the updraft. There's no need to stay on this level. So, let's try this lower level here. I mean, this is a situation where the Krazoa Palace is... they restrict your access based on the fans and how hard they're blowing, you know? Yeah, that was the one that I used last time. All of the members of Star Fox and, like, General Pepper and you know, the Liladians? I don't know how to phrase it. They all have very American accents. And in this game, I think it's clear that, like, almost everybody who voiced anything... this is definitely where I need to go. Anybody who voiced anything in this game was probably British, because Rare is a British company. And, you can tell that they didn't try to hide that with the dinosaurs. It's like, oh yeah, for some bizarre reason, almost all the dinosaurs are just straight up, you know, British of some design. Like, a couple of them are Cockney and stuff like that. But then, like, you talk to Fox, you talk to Pepper, and they're all, like, supposed to be American, but then they do some things with their words every once in a while where it's like, oh, that's a British person trying to do an American accent, which is kind of a strange thing to fathom as an American, because you don't think that you have an accent in any capacity, when in reality, you do. And I'm always fascinated by people who are so remarkably good at dropping their accent. Roger Clark, who did the voice of Arthur Morgan in Red Dead 2, the main character. That's fascinating, because he was Irish. I think he was. Pretty sure he was Irish. Another example would be Hugh Laurie, who played the character House on the show, House MD. I had no idea that he was English, because he did a really good job of dropping his accent for that show. It's always fascinating, and something that I've heard more than enough of is Americans trying to do, a British accent. And so many Americans cannot do a British accent to save their life. Okay, it's just not possible. And then, so it's kind of common, in my opinion, to be like, oh yeah, like that's a terrible accent. I guess that's just the down shaft. That's a terrible attempt at a British accent. Which, I've heard that enough. What I am intensely entertained by is whenever I've heard anybody from the UK try to do an American accent, and I've tried to tempt so many Brits, so many Limeys to just do an American accent. They won't. They won't. They know better. It's interesting. All right, I am betting dollars to donuts here that there's nothing for me. Okay, there's nothing for me here. They're not gonna even give me a challenge whenever I walk into the shrine, because they have started to truncate the game so severely at this stage. I'll talk about it in a bit, what they were supposedly going to do with the game, and then they ended up not doing it because they had to push this out the door so fast to complete the sale of the company to Microsoft. Such a crazy story. Yep, sure enough, straight into a cinematic. Oh, no? Okay. Okay, so this is supposed to be another test. I'm still pretty certain that I don't have to do anything. Am I gonna get another cutscene up here?
I've been waiting for you, Fox McCloud. Yeah! You may have returned the Spellstones, but the war is not over yet. Now you must face me.
Stop! Scales! You are no longer any use to me.
Who are you? I demand you show yourself.
I am the one you brought to Krazoa Palace. The Earthwalkers could see me, but you could not.
I don't understand.
No, I didn't think you would. Your desire for power overwhelmed you and blinded you to the truth inside. Now give Fox what he's looking for. Give him the final Krazoa spirit.
You will regret this.
It was in him all this time. But that voice, I recognize it from somewhere.
The little shark claws took the belt off of General Scales. Why did General Scales just die whenever he gave up the Krazoa spirit? That doesn't make any sense. Fox has carried and given up so many Krazoa spirits. So, like, this is the moment when you can see that, like, they were just like, I don't know, just make something happen. Just make it happen, and just, like, get the game out. Like, so much of that is abundantly clear in this moment of the game, where way more was supposed to happen, but they had to just make something happen to get the game moving forward, and it didn't have to make any amount of sense. It just had to get out there. Alright, right, so that is the last of the 6 spirits. I don't have to, or should I say spirits? It should release Crystal, right?
What's going on? You said this would save her! Wake up! Wake up!
I am reborn, the mighty Krazoa god. Heal all those that stand before me!
We will never kneel to you! Give me that!
Hey, wait! Well, thanks for nothing. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be standing here at all.
My staff! You're back.
I don't think that's gonna do too much. Fox definitely recognizes that. But it turns out that there's a much better set of blasters on the R-Wing. You have to admit, you know, that ship is as much of a character in the franchise as Fox or Slippy or Peppy or Falco are. Without the R-Wing, so much of Star Fox wouldn't actually have happened. And now, the cheapest fake out.
I've been looking forward to this day, to see you again, Fox McCloud.
Andros!
And now, to destroy the Lilac system!
I've got to stop it!
Ah, yes, the wonderful experience of suddenly getting a 100% complete and total fake out where you go and you sling a completely different control scheme that the player is not used to for the final boss battle. Like, don't get me wrong, you've spent time in the game. At this point, you will have spent time with, you know, piloting the R-Wing. An okay amount, not a whole lot, just an okay amount. But it's just not great to suddenly get this. This battle would, like, it absolutely confounded me whenever I first played it, I remember, and I'll always remember that the way to, like, not get sucked into Andross's mouth is specifically to, do just, you know, spin your aircraft constantly. What they love to call a barrel roll, and I've been informed is, like, not accurate at all. Oh my god, I'm doing so badly. Ooh, with this. But this is probably this is the biggest and most cardinal sin of the entire game, where they just completely fake out and they talk about, they completely fake you out, and you don't battle General Scales after setting him up as the antagonist. You end up with Andross. They just basically recreate the entire battle from Star Fox 64, which was the most recent game in the Star Fox franchise before this. And it's cheap. It's unsatisfying. It's not good. It's not a good experience. And it reminds me of a presentation that I did at PAX South one year, back when PAX South was still a thing, and it was about, you know, getting your boss right, getting your main antagonist right in video games, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And, you know, returning to the story of Borderlands 2, which is something that I was talking about in a previous episode, I think that it's one of the perfect games out there, and one of the reasons is because I think that Handsome Jack, they do a really good job of setting him up as your primary nemesis by making certain that you see and hear enough of him so that by the time you actually defeat him at the end of the game, you don't actually fight Handsome Jack in Borderlands 2. You kill him by the end, you know, but you do not actually fight Handsome Jack yourself. Instead, you fight, you know, the monster that he summons, which has been his plan the entire game. So there are all of these steps of like getting to know the enemy and having the payoff of like seeing their plan come to fruition and still beating them, you know? Even if it means not actually fighting the primary bad guy himself, because he's not all that strong. His strengths and his abilities are in his scheming, as it were. So my understanding about Star Fox Adventure here is that they were going to do something similar to that. You were supposed to play as... Oh, man, he spinned around again. Every single time he spins his head without me actually destroying the gems, it resets the entire battle. Oh, come on, what was that trash? Anyways... The original intention, my understanding, is that you would free Crystal, and then you would play as both Crystal and Fox for the last tiny stretch of the game, where you both worked to defeat General Scales. But of course they were pressed to actually get the game out the door because they needed to complete the sale of the company from Nintendo over to Microsoft. Which meant, you know, they just had to get the game out. Hence the reason why this has come completely out of left field, and it's fundamentally an unsatisfying boss battle because it's not foreshadowed. We like fiction to have some amount of sense and reason because we don't get enough of that in reality. Some very, very weird and strange things can happen in reality with no rhyme or reason other than the fact that, well, that's just what happened. So. We like our fiction to follow particular rules of predictability, because that, as humans, that's something that we very much so crave, just predictability. Anyways, don't get me wrong, the battle here is functional, it works, it's also really, really cheap to throw this type of control scheme when 90% of the game, if not more, is running around and fighting with the staff. And then for you to not have access to the staff and have to do this with the R-Wing, pretty ridiculous in all honesty. Especially since at this phase of the game, maybe you've spent a half hour inside of the R-Wing piloting it through levels. Like, it makes sense for you to be fighting with the staff as opposed to fighting, piloting the R-Wing. Oh boy. Oh boy. You just don't have enough experience, and the number of failures I remember, the number of failures that I remember having at this boss battle whenever I first played it is not insignificant. Ooh, I am not a very good pilot of this either. I mean, I've basically filled up my entire, basically filled up my entire health bar and lost it in this just this one sequence. I'm not a good pilot. Never have been. Never will be. Totally not qualified for it. So, you know, what's functional versus what's well designed versus what feels rewarding, or those are all different things. This is a functional battle. Is it well designed? I don't know about that. Oh wait, I think we're about to get...
Hey McCloud, different time, different planet, and you still need Falco's help. It's good to see you, buddy.
There we go. We're not done yet. We are not done yet. Falco's here to help. Alright, this shouldn't be too much... I shouldn't have much more to go through before we're finished here. I really hope that I can finish this in one single go, because this is a long fight. This is going to be more than half the video. Wow, he just spat that silver ring as far away from me as he possibly could. Alright, now that we have the bombs, shoot it in his mouth, and now we can attack his brain. Which is a reference to the only way to get the real ending in Star Fox 64. Gotta avoid that brain. He's too agile. Give me the silver! Give me the silver! Was the silver really worth it whenever I had to take damage in order to get it? Probably not. It just canceled itself out. I don't think I'm going to have to worry about eating any of the missiles. I think my main challenge is the rocks. Ah, there we go. Okay. I wish that this game had the proper amount of time to actually... okay, maybe the brain is a problem too. Ow! Word, that is a very agile brain. I'm gonna have to fake him left and then fake him right. Give me the silver! Give me the silver! Whew. I'm getting a little bit low on health. I'm getting nervous here. A missile wave. I remember whenever I did that presentation about having your main antagonist be worthwhile, that one of the things that I specifically made a point out of was that you want your main... Oh my word! Oh jeez, I'm getting real low here. He hits for half hearts. Half hearts, half shields. This isn't Zelda. Oh my god, I missed that. One of the things that I touched on is, like, you got a similar experience with, you know, like a kind of a fake out to this in the game Dying Light. In the game Dying Light, I am not getting that. I am not. Nope, missed it. In the game Dying Light, there's all of this set up for the main enemy named Rise, and you do get the opportunity to fight Rise one-on-one, but it turns into a quick time battle, which is really not satisfying. Okay, this we're good. As long as I don't catch a missile or a rock or anything, I'll be able to take him out in the next shot. So, like, you get all of this setup, and you do get to fight the guy, but then you don't get to use the normal control scheme, and that means you get the story payoff of getting of defeating the main enemy. But you do not get the satisfying boss battle because, you know, it's a quick time event instead of, like, using your actual skills. Here we go. Nothing like destroying a big floating monkey head that results in an enormous explosion. I'd say that might be mission accomplished. One has to wonder who came up with the design for Great Fox. Ah, and now we get to see Dinosaur Planet start to come back together. I guess Andross didn't, like, chew up and swallow and digest all of the Krazoa spirits for revival. He just kind of needed their power to sustain himself or something. Because now they're present again. And they're forcing the planet back together. Something that is wholly and completely impossible. In fact, this would probably wreak more devastation on Dinosaur Planet if it was allowed to happen. But then again, this is science fiction after all. Now for a little bit more of, like, nonsense. Like, all of the Sharp Claw that Scales commanded are now, like, cheering because he's dead. I don't know, like, why were you following him so readily? Armies don't fall away from their leaders that hard and that fast in an instantaneous moment. I mean, not as far as I can tell from anything I've ever witnessed when reading history.
We did it, Fox!
Dinosaur Planet is saved!
Andross is defeated once again! You all did a great job.
General Pepper here! Good work, Star Fox team. I received a message from the King and Queen Earthwalker, thanking you for saving their world. Oh, and Tricky says hi. I was, however, very surprised to hear that Andros was still alive.
Not as much as we were.
It seems that Andros discovered the ancient power of the Krazoa, and by trapping Crystal, who had the ability to channel this power, he was able to use this energy to revive himself.
At least this time we'll see the last of him. I'm transferring your fee as we speak. Ever out.
Woohoo! Yeah!
We can finally repair the ship.
And I really need some oil. These joints are not what they used to be.
And I can't wait to get back with the Star Fox team. Hey guys, you don't mind if I hang with you again, do ya?
Sure, Falco. It's great to have you back.
The Star Fox team is back together again. Oh, Fox! I almost forgot. I received this message from Crystal.
Hi, Fox. I really appreciate what you did for me. I'm just so sorry we didn't get much of a chance to talk. I'm left with just one more thing to do.
And that's to say thank you.
Well, okay. I mean, sure, no problem.
You're not shy, are you, Fox?
My sensors indicate Fox's temperature is rising. Are you okay, Fox?
I'm gonna be just fine.
And that is the conclusion of Star Fox Adventures Dinosaur Planet. Man, oh my word, Satoru Iwata was an executive producer on this? I suppose that lines up. Iwata was he did take control of Nintendo in 2001, or maybe early 2002. I don't remember when exactly he became the president or CEO or whatever the role was. Well, I mean, that's Star Fox Dinosaur Planet, and Star Fox Adventures Dinosaur Planet, and to say that this is a bad game would be incorrect. To say that this is an altogether good game would be incorrect. I think that it's a solid 7 out of 10. Maybe 8 if you're really gonna stretch it because of your love for this particular style of game. I think it's more of a middle game, but there's not a lot to choose from when it comes to Star Fox, so it's kind of hard to play any of the games and say that any are just straight up in the trash and any are pure, immaculate masterpieces. So I like it. I enjoy it. And unfortunately, it's one of those games where the front half of the game is far better than the second half of the game, because all of the proper effort and design went into the beginning of the game's development, and then very little of the development time was spent on the second half for all of the reasons that I've already covered in throughout the series. So it's got charm, it's got quality, and it is legitimately good. It's just not perfect, and it has its problems. That being said, I do have rose-tinted glasses for this, unquestionably, because I was really excited for this to come out. I got my hands on it. I played it, a couple of times at least, I think. I can't quite remember. But it was good. It was a good game. And I loved having the adventure, even if it wasn't perfect. And, in all honesty, like I've said in the past, I like how this game actually tried to expand the mythos of the game. Because you had, Dinosaur Planet, it was far more intimately explored. That's one of the things that Star Fox as a franchise has going for it. It has an entire universe that it can delve into and explore the details of. So, the Lylat system, what are the other enemies, the prospect of, spending more time on a single planet to understand what, its culture is and what its problems are. It doesn't have to be a space opera, as this game shows. You can have amounts of space functionality sprinkled into it, but you can also really, really restrict the view and just stick to a single planet. And of course, because Star Fox is a mercenary group, they would need to be able to do more than just fly ships around in space. Their ability is also in doing a whole lot of work on the ground. So, this is the end of Star Fox Adventures. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see all of you in another series another time. Goodbye.